I want to talk to you about becoming wealthy and actually getting out of poverty mindset. There is very specific things, there's very specific beliefs, there's very specific mindset, there's very specific actions that wealthy people take. Multimillionaires do not approach the world of money or the world in general like people who are struggling with money, like people who are in blue collar. And I find that a lot of people on TikTok anyway, now that I've shifted my business more on TikTok, there's a lot of people that are still struggling with money, and money is still a limited resource in their life. And a lot of people are delaying their satisfaction and their happiness and their growth because they're not allowing themselves to tap into a frequency of wealth. And wealth frequency is available to everyone, right? But just like with anything, you have to be able to be willing to do the work for it. And I find that we've been programmed so deeply in society to believe that working hard is how you make money. But we can literally, like, if we just actually dug into that just a little bit, we would see how untrue that is. So if we actually thought that the wealthiest people in the world had to work the hardest to make their money, then we would see wealthy people working very, very hard all day long, and we do not. Who do we see working very, very hard all day long? People that are in the blue collar poverty class. The hardest working people across the board are always the poorest. Like, the people that work the hardest for their money are the poorest. And that is across the board. Look at janitors, look at teachers, look at bartenders, look at servers, look at labor workers. People that are doing the most difficult jobs, that are slaving and trading their time away for money, are the most broke people, because society teaches you to be broke. That's why you don't learn anything about money in school. I was only told to balance a checkbook once in 8th grade, and yes, I'm old, so we did have checkbooks in my day. If we change how we think of work and we change how we think of money, that's how we break free from this scarcity paradigm that you're being sold everywhere. In the media and everywhere, they're always showing you that wealthy people are terrible people and that poor people are good people, and that it's good to be poor because you're gonna be a moral person, you're gonna have ethics, and that's not the case. It's actually that money is an energy and it amplifies who you are. So if you're a bad person, you're going to do bad things with money. If you're a good person, you're going to do good things with money. But having money gives you the option to decide. People who don't have money are limited. They don't have choices. They have to look at the price tag before they can say yes to anything. And yes, that's one reality that you can play into. And you can also play into the reality where you get to make money in your sleep. Because that's what millionaires and billionaires are doing. They are making money in their sleep. What is it? A Warren Buffett quote that says, if you don't know how to make money in your sleep, you'll be trading your time for money always. That's exactly where most people are at. They believe that they have to trade their time away for money, and they don't understand that the wealthy people learn how to have a healthy relationship with money, and then they make money work for them. Whenever I talk about abundance, whenever I talk about wealth, whenever I talk about this, people are still they're not getting it. And it's because people are subscribing so much to the narrative that they've been told. And the Matrix wants you to be limited. If you don't have money, you're powerless pretty much. So you're very easy to control. Somebody who has money, they get to say no to things that they don't want to do. And why wouldn't you want to live there? Why wouldn't you want to live in a realm where you get to have infinite money available to you and you don't have to be trading all of your time away for money? If you understood how much money you could be making in a fucking month, in a goddamn day, it's what you were told in the Matrix you could be lucky to make in a year. If you still think $100,000 is a lot of money, that's one paradigm to play in, but why would you want to keep playing there? $100,000 a year is nothing. $100,000 in a month is totally accessible. And this is the realm that the women that I coach play in. Like, we have businesses and we know how to work with money. We know how to work with our mindset. We know how to work and play in wealth energetics. And this is where you have to be able to go. I just don't understand why there's so many wealth teachers out there. There's so many spiritual teachers that have written books, that have programs, and we keep basically telling you the same things on how to become wealthy. And then there's people defending their lack mindset in the comments always. And it's like, if you're going to keep defending your limitations, you're going to keep getting your limitations. And if you're going to keep subscribing to your poverty mindset, you're going to keep being poor. The math clearly adds up. Wealth is a consciousness level first and foremost, and any billionaire will tell you that. Any self-made multimillionaire will tell you that. If you are still fighting that, I'm guaranteed that you're living, you're probably making less than $50,000 a year. If you still believe that, quite honestly, because your mindset is capping you always. Like, your mindset is always the thing that's capping you. And when it comes to money, when it comes to wealth, so many people aren't actually getting there because they aren't actually realizing that it's the mind and it's how you've been programmed to believe it. There are more millionaires in the world than there have ever been. 88% of them are self-made millionaires. So that does not mean that they started with a lot of money. You know what they started with? A high fucking consciousness level. And they learned how to raise their frequency when it comes to wealth. That is why 70 to 80% of lottery winners lose their money within 3 years because they have a poverty mindset and they got lucky once. Whereas a wealthy person, if they put all of their money into a business investment and it went wrong for whatever reason and they lost all of their money, they would typically have that money back in a year. Why is that? It's not because of the opportunities available to them. We all technically have the same opportunities. It's just, are you on a frequency to look for the opportunities, or have you programmed your subconscious mind to only look for problems and to only look for lack and to only look for limitation? And unfortunately, so many of us are stuck there. We're stuck in the lack, limitation, this is all it can be. And if you're not gonna question that, then you're gonna have a difficult time making money. Money is gonna feel like something that you are chasing elusively outside of you forever, instead of something that you generate on the inside, because wealth is a frequency and wealth is a consciousness. And money, yes, we've put it and we've printed it on this piece of paper, but have you ever just held up $100 bill and just laughed at it? I love to do that. I have very weird practices, but I have a really good relationship with money. So I would challenge you to have some weird practices with money. But one thing that I teach my women is hold up $100 bill and just laugh at it. It's just a piece of paper. If you went and grabbed a Post-it note, or if you grabbed your list for the grocery store, it's the same fucking thing. Why do we give so much meaning to the one that's printed with the $100 on it? It's literally just a piece of paper. If you're really trying to get technical, it's just a piece of paper. That they just decided to print it on a different kind of paper, and now we put it some meaning, so it has this big elaborate thing. But when you take money off of the pedestal and you realize you're just a piece of paper. You don't have any power over me. I'm obviously the person in power here because I'm the person and you're a piece of paper. When you start actually looking at how ridiculous it is that you've been programmed to believe in lack. We live in an abundant universe. Lack is a man-made creation. Lack is a disease of the matrix, y'all. It's a mindset belief that is keeping us ill. This is why we're seeing a lot of people become multimillionaires now, and then so many people trying but not getting there. Because if you're not going to release every single belief that you have ever had around money, you are going to struggle. And you don't have to struggle. You do not have to struggle when it comes to money. Money can actually be the easiest fucking thing in the world for you. It can be something that you make every single night. Absolutely, without a doubt. It's something that you just wake up to. Your bank account can be growing and growing and growing without you trading your time for money. Your net worth can literally be growing on the daily, and you can be on the beach. It really can work out like that. Think about people that write books. They write a book. It doesn't even matter how many books they write, but they wrote that one book, and that one book generates income for how long? If you had to trade time for money, that author would have had to been writing that book 1,000,001 times. Every single time the book got wrote or the book sold, it would have to be written, right? That's not how it works. Think about any musician. They make an album once and then it keeps generating money. There are dead musicians who are still making money. There are dead authors who are still making money. Try and tell me that you have to trade your time for money. It's a belief. It's a belief. And I get that it's deeply ingrained. I get it. I did money work for 10 fucking years before I ever coached anyone on money because I was like, bro, I don't know. I got a lot of work to do. And I dedicated 10 years. Are you willing to do that though? Like, a lot of people stay broke because they're not willing to put in the work and they're not willing to release their old beliefs. And it's like, if you're not willing to work for it and if you're not willing to think differently, keep watching Netflix, keep scrolling on TikTok. But you have the power. You can decide at any moment that you want to be a wealthy human. And you can decide at any moment that you want to generate money in your sleep every single night. It was a decision that I made. I said, I'm done. I'm done with this whole poverty thing. Like, you were fun, you were cute. Not really. You actually sucked. I'm done. And so I'm going to be wealthy. And it was a conscious decision after like 7 fucking years of money work. And then I still did 3 more years of money work. But it's like, everybody wants to manifest money, but are you going to do the work? Because manifesting money is literally going to take you looking at every belief that you have about money. And I'm going to tell you right now, unless you're born into a wealthy ass family, they all suck and they're all wrong. Are you willing to look at every sucky belief and tell it that it's wrong and rewire a new one in? Because that's like, you want to learn how to manifest money? Boom. That's what you got to do. And then, because you've released all of those old beliefs and you've rewired new ones in, you can now raise your frequency because you've worked on regulating your nervous system so that money doesn't make you go, because that's what happens to lottery winners. They haven't regulated their nervous system. They don't have the energetic capacity to hold that much money. And then they go, and they freak out and they spend it all because they've never had money, so they don't feel safe with money. So they definitely can't have that much money because that's really, really unsafe. So, let's just throw it away. Let's just keep throwing it away because that's going to make me feel a lot safer because my subconscious mind has operated in lack and I've been in a low poverty frequency for my whole life. And even though it sucks there, I'm really comfortable there. So I think I'm just going to go back. And that's what we do. And that's what so many people do. But if you are alive right now, you are part of the generation that is here to shatter all of the generational curses, all of the limiting beliefs throughout our entire lineage. Like, we're done. The generations that are younger than us are going to be born into a wealth consciousness. They are going to do whatever they love to do, and no one's going to tell them how they can do it or when they can do it or whatever. They get to do it how they want to do it, and they get to be rich as fuck. There's not going to be a starving artist archetype anymore. There's not going to be a wealthy person that's immoral. When you are a good-hearted person and you get money, you do good things with money because money is an energy. It's a frequency. Stop correlating rich people with the negative ones you see on the news. Just turn off the news because it's programming you towards lack and feeding you terrible images to your subconscious mind. But if you start actually realizing that you get to be a good person and you get to have money, and then you start correlating, okay, look at all of the philanthropists I know. I want you to start because your subconscious mind loves examples. Loves. It builds evidence. But your subconscious mind builds evidence based off of the past. It was programmed from 0 to 7. If you grew up in poverty, which most of us did, if you grew up in a blue-collar society, arguably, I don't know, they're both really bad. But the blue collar one is so ingrained that you think you're like a little superior because you're not poor. And then you just have like, I'm this moral person. So I kind of argue that the blue collar teachings in society are almost worse than the poverty teaching because blue collar is poverty fed to you on a silver plate. So you don't think that you're in poverty. You think you're better than the poor people. But you're just more programmed and the poor people are probably living and having more fun than you, like if we're being honest, because y'all have that savings account. And here's the thing, you guys, I worked for the government for 8 years. I was going to school to get my MBA. I worked for the New York State government for 8 years, okay? Like when I realized, when I became a payroll manager and well, actually a payroll examiner, and I started seeing how much money I would get paid to be a director of a New York State agency who's on call 24/7 and has a salary. You guys, I can tell you this because it's public information, $120K. $120K, that's fucking it. That's fucking it. To be on call 24/7, you would only get $120,000 a year? Are you fucking kidding me? And that's without your health insurance being taken out. Like, are you fucking kidding me? I had started doing personal development and I had already been doing money mindset work while I was going to school to get my MBA. And I was just getting taught how to manage money like it was a limited resource in all of the matrix teachings, in my MBA teachings. And it was like, I want to be wealthy. Like, I want to learn how to be wealthy. I don't want to keep playing in these budgets and these lack. Like, why can't we play in abundance and wealth? So I hired a money coach. And at that time, at the same time when I was seeing that I could only make $120K being a director of a New York State agency, I had hired a money coach. She was making $400,000 a month at that time, and it was going up every single month. And it has doubled since then. So I was like, wait a minute, you guys are telling me that I have to spend 24 hours on call and handle a whole New York State agency, which is like stress after stress after stress. I was a manager, like I know. And I would only make $120K when my money coach, who was having the fucking time of her life and changing people's lives, their legacies, their lineage, because she's teaching them how to actually be wealthy. She's making $400,000 a month. A month. Have you ever heard that? If you're not in my world, if you're new, you probably are going to be triggered, but I talk about big numbers here because it's just a number. If you saw 400,000 on a piece of paper and it was just written down, would it dysregulate your nervous system? Half of you just left. So I guess it would. But this is where you get to play. If this is too much for you, then I would challenge you to not be intimidated. I would challenge you to say, wait a minute, what? I was told I could only have $120K at best a year, and I can make quadruple that in a month and it could keep going up. Yeah, but how do you do that? You stop playing in the money matrix. You have to start playing in wealth frequency and wealth consciousness. The first thing is find gratitude. Like, stop seeing lack in everything. If you start finding gratitude for what you have and the money that's available, more money will be available. If you keep looking at money and every time you look at money, you say this isn't enough, like, would you ever want to hang out with somebody that tells you that you're never enough every time you show up? Money is a relationship. Billionaires, multimillionaires, like, we all know this. So if you're not willing to have a relationship with your money and have a healthy relationship with your money, then you're going to keep living in poverty. So if something that you do is when money comes in, you look at it and you go, you're not enough, I would start there. I love you guys, but I keep telling you how to become wealthy, and then you keep coming into my comments with a bunch of lack. And if you want to really go deep, I'm teaching my money program next month, and it's called Currency. I'll teach you all of the things, the money mindset, the regulating your nervous system, the wealth frequency, because wealth is a frequency. It's a consciousness first. When you learn how to play into a wealth consciousness frequency, that's when money becomes easy for you, because you're not looking for lack everywhere. You're not looking for a limitation everywhere. You're creating an abundant mindset because you're grateful for what you have. You're grateful when it comes to you. You're grateful for the little things. You're celebrating what's on its way to you. You know that more is coming to you because everything is energy, and energy is not running out. Energy is always available. So if you start playing in the frequency of money, fuck the dollar bills, like that got you all tripping out so badly, that you feel you got to work so hard for, on like the hamster on the wheel. Start playing in the frequency of money. Start realizing that you have a relationship with money. And if you don't have a healthy relationship with money, that's the first thing you need to clean up. Like, I feel like so many people are like, I want to manifest all the money. But it's like, what money work have you done? Do you know that money work exists? Do you know that if you don't rewire your mind, regulate your nervous system, and learn to get into the frequency of it, you're going to struggle? Like there's three areas. There's typically not just one thing. And that's what so many people are like, give me the fastest way to manifest the money. And I'm like, how old are you? 47. Okay, so for 47 years, you've never had one single good belief about money. You've never said one good thing about money. And now you want me to, in a 3-minute video, tell you how to become wealthy. You guys, like, yes, I teach all the spiritual things, but I also teach you all of the tangible, practical things. Like, I don't tell women that come into my private mentorship, like I coach female entrepreneurs, and I don't tell them to sit on their couch and visualize $10,000. That's not how we make $10,000 a month. Like, that's not how we make $10,000 a day. We are making money because we understand that there's action required. But you have to realize that you have to do all of this work on rewiring your mind, regulating your nervous system, and getting into the energetics of it, while simultaneously putting your blinders on, because the majority of people in your life are in poverty and they're in lack and they're in scarcity. And every time you start speaking about abundance, they're gonna come over and they're gonna pop your balloon. Like, no, that's not how it works. Well, cool. If it actually worked the way that they told you it did, then they'd be wealthy, right? Having a savings account, did that ever get anyone wealthy? No. That kept people safe, and it kept them saving for something bad to go wrong or something bad to happen. And because the intention was to use all of this money for something bad, when it happens, like, it's going to happen because you're planning and preparing for a bad thing to happen. Like, blue collar teachings are just, they're so intricate that, like, they make you think that this is the smart and rational thing. And it's like, no wealthy person has ever done that. No wealthy person is like, here, bank, please hold a lot of money and not give me any return on my investment, or like such a little return on investment that I can live like a mediocre life. No, that's not it. That's not it. You have to realize that moving money makes more money. And if your money isn't working for you and your money's not making money for you, then your money's not in the right place. And there's just so many broken teachings. So it's like, if you want to actually become wealthy, you have to create a healthy relationship with money. You have to rewire your mind. You have to start believing in money in a different way. You have to start thinking about it differently. And then wealth is going to start coming to you. All right, my phone is about to die, so I am going to go.